As most of us took up a hobby or started collecting things in lockdown, one family decided to do the exact opposite.
After becoming overwhelmed by the stresses of modern life, the Callaghan family chose to throw away over 95% of their possessions, with most of it going to charity.
Well, now, with a lot less stuff but a lot more happiness, we're joined by Dad, Jason O'Callaghan, to explain more. It's lovely to talk to you,
Morning,
Jason.
Jason.
So you're a psychologist, and you've always been interested in finding things that could help us physically and mentally to improve ourselves.
Yeah, well, my background, as you say, is psychology, and our speciality and what I do in our clinic in Dublin is weight loss, believe it or not. But talking to people through weight loss and seeing that they're eating for emotional reasons, I realized that a lot of the time was not just what they were eating, but also the environment they were eating in. And I watched a documentary on Netflix called The Minimalists, and it sort of, if you can imagine, sort of found my tribe. I understood that this was maybe something that we needed to do. And as a psychologist, I specialize in clinical hypnotherapy. So I wanted to know, was there an unconscious thing where we're holding on to things and so on? So I sort of started to study it and then brought it up with my wife, and we decided, because we were doing a house move, that we would just sort of, it's basically extreme decluttering is the politest way to say it.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. What was life like before? Because you've got the kids and it's a young family, so we all know how busy that sort of world can be. And you were sort of busting at the seams a little bit.
Yeah, well, you can imagine we have three kids: Camille, who's 8, Ethan, who's 7, and Stephanie, who's 4. And we had sort of been renting a home beforehand, and we had a sort of playroom which was completely full of toys. And we spent most of our time tidying up the toys rather than the kids actually playing with them.
Yeah.
Plus, a lot of the toys they had grown out of, and we just had never got rid of anything. So not just when my youngest daughter got to 4, we were able to get rid of the buggies and the gates and all that stuff, but we just decided to get rid of everything, because we literally had, I would say, 95% of the stuff they had in their rooms, they never played with, and we just spent our lives tidying it up. So it caused a huge amount of time, a huge amount of stress and effort. And as I said, my goal as a professional is to try to make life less of a hassle rather than more. And we were the cause of the hassle. So it was something that was very easy to do.
So was Karina, your wife, in on this from the start? Were there any no-go areas?
Yeah. Well, my wife works in Crumlin Hospital. She's a dietitian. She's very serious and very professional. And my idea that I came home with this idea, I wasn't allowed to touch her shoes. I must confess, a lot of stuff got thrown out, especially of the kids in the house that she didn't know about. She hasn't realized it's gone. But yeah, she, like every lady, I'm sure Holly's the same, has a lovely collection of shoes. And they were no go for me. So she still has her shoes, and I'm not allowed to go near them. But everything else, she was really good at this. She understands as well that, you know, it's her and I who are tidying up all the stuff. So it's just as much an issue for her. And she was really on board. But you know, I was the one filling the Jeep and going to the skip all the time.
What about sentimental things? What about memorabilia? Did that go as well?
Yeah, well, an awful lot of people have this concept that when you become a minimalist, is that you live in a sort of bare room with nothing but a chair, and you know, and it doesn't work like that at all. You know, we hold on to everything to do with the kids, obviously minimalist stuff from when they were kids, as in, you know, stuff from the hospital and so on. My wife likes to read; she has a lot of nice books that she has there. So it's not about emptying your life out. It's about making more meaning of the stuff that you have got. You'll see images there of our kids' room. My son still has his Lego. My daughter still have their art stuff. It's not about clearing out everything and making the whole house empty. It's about utilizing what you have.
Yeah, but
and
how
not
do you
filling
choose that? Like, I get what you're saying. But if I could, like, because you sort of get everything in the middle of the room. You're like, what do I need? What do we keep? What do we chuck? But how do you make yourself do that? Because I think I might be a little bit of a hoarder. I put sentimental value on jeans and pants. Like, there are things that I cannot let go of, and it just all adds up. So how do you choose?
If you have things that you love, you keep them. It's not about trying out stuff that you know, your jeans, your clothes, Holly, that you would wear on a day-to-day, week-to month-to-month basis. But if you have a wardrobe full of stuff that you haven't touched in years, you know, realistically, it's not earning its way. It's using up real estate in your home that's not earning its way. And always remember, you could always get stuff that you would wear by getting rid of that space, clearing up that space for stuff that you could get. But it's about utilizing, you know, keep hold of the sentimental things, very important, but only utilizing, keeping your house what you actually want and what you actually need. And if you don't use it, there's very little point in you keeping it there. We've all got kitchens full of grills and shakers and all this stuff that we haven't used in years. Empty it all out. You're paying enough for your mortgage or your rent, and you've got this certain amount of space, and it's full of things which you don't use, which you're spending your life moving. And now it's a case of, pre-COVID, we all need to take care of our mental health a lot more. It's not just walking and taking care and making banana bread. It's about, clearing
You so 95% of your stuff went. So it's been sold, or it's gone to charity shops, or it's been passed on to someone else who needs it. So you have had this purge. I love a skip. I will admit, I love a skip.
Anyone skip?
Any old skip, anyone skip. I walk past one, I'll have that in there.
Oh, it's you.
Yeah. But what effect has it had on your head?
It is, as I said, my big thing was the first thing I had done before this was I had lost a lot of weight. People look and go, he doesn't look very skinny. I was a lot bigger beforehand. So what I did was I sort of had sorted out my physical health, if you want to call it that. I lost a bit of weight and I got my head together. As I said, my wife's a dietitian, she's great with that. But then I decided that, I had this since I was young, because I could never figure out why my parents had 30 knives and 30 forks, and there was only 4 of us living in the house. So that would frustrate me, because you would keep having to keep using new stuff rather than wash the old stuff. So I just, again, this is what it is. It makes your life much easier.
Has it made you feel better? Has it made your head feel better?
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely trying to find stuff, I keep clothes that I wear. Clothes that I don't wear anymore are gone.
I tell you what, there's something in it. I'm intrigued. I'm going to go home and
You said this morning when we were reading all through this, you said I could be part of that.
Well, I've already texted the name of the documentary to Dan. I've gone, we need to watch this. We need this in our life.
I have to say something just from an Irish point of view, Holly, that nearly every male that I know on Facebook, when I said I was talking to you, wanted me to say hello. So from all the men in Ireland, they all want to
hello, Irish men.
Every man in Ireland.
Well, I'm honoured.
All male population of Ireland. Thank you so much. Lovely to talk to you. Fascinating.
Right.